Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Courageous Communication. I'm so glad that you're here. And I know that if you're not able to watch live, remember you can watch the recording. Please remember to like us on Facebook, Courageous Communications, and on YouTube. Please go to YouTube and like us. That's kind of our neglected brother right now. And we definitely need those likes and subscribes on YouTube because that's going to help me in so many different areas, not just with Courageous Communication, but also in my business, Courageous Counseling and Consulting. It will just help bring people in. So I would really appreciate it if you would do that. Even if you choose to watch on Facebook, go ahead and get to YouTube, like, and subscribe on the channel. So today is an exciting day for me because I have officially met my first country music recording artist. I'm so excited. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my friend, country music recording artist, DeAnda.
Hi
Hey,
guys.
Chris,
Hey,
how are you?
good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
All
Happy to
right.
be
Well,
here.
good. I'm glad. I'm glad. We're excited to have you. And so I know we have a whole lot of things to get through today because you're going to talk to us about making it in the music industry and kind of the ups and downs that can be, and a little bit about yourself. So I just want to toss it over to you and kind of, I know the first bullet point you have for me is just kind of telling us about your childhood. So I'm just going to let you run with that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So basically, I grew up in a music family. So this all started with my uncle and his two sons. They had a Spanish touring band back in like the 90s, early 2000s. So and so I was kind of born into it. My brother actually was on tour with them. And then eventually, whenever I was born, I don't remember it, but growing up now, I knew there's videos and pictures of me with them back when I was barely born. I couldn't even walk at the time, and I thought it was so cool. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I was like drums. It was like piano. It was like bass, guitar, and I was like, I like this. This is cool. And then my brother would sing with them too, and just seeing all of that was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," and then I just went throughout the years, just, like, playing I started playing drums was about 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
So, yes, so
So
it's
your first
been
taste was kind of like a big taste, really. I mean, like you
yeah,
had an introduction that was on a larger scale than probably
yeah,
most of us, you know. Music
mhm.
for us was
Yeah,
probably like listening to the radio.
yeah, literally, and that's all I thought it was, and then until I eventually knew, I was like, "Oh, yeah, there's actually people behind it actually singing into a microphone, they're playing the drums." I was like, "They're playing the guitar," and I was like, "That's pretty cool." And then that's whenever I got drawn into playing drums. I was like, okay, I like drums. I was like, loud, of course. The kids like loud stuff, so
Yeah.
drums is pretty much loud. So I was like, I like drums. So I was like, let's play drums, and it's loud.
So that was your first instrument, was drums?
Yes,
And
drums.
how did your
Yes,
parents enjoy that?
they they thought it was pretty cool because it was something. Because of course my mom could sing, my dad can play guitar, play drums.
Really?
And my brother does it all, and of course I do it all.
I did not know that. So you're very musically inclined as like a
Hmm.
family.
Yes. Yeah.
So, just so I'm sure everyone saw the shock on my face whenever you said your mom sings. So, just for a little reference, I actually know Chris's mom. That's how we were connected to have this interview. I did not know she could sing. So now she's going to have to send me a little text message of her singing or something, a
Yeah.
little voicemail.
Yeah. So yeah, when we used to go to church here in Monahans, um, we made up the band. So it was like we made up the band. I was like, I was on drums, my dad played the guitar, my brother sang. Of course, my mom sang too. My brother played the piano. So we were like the family band in the church.
How
So that's how.
funny.
And so yeah.
I did not know that. That's funny. That's a good
Mhm.
story.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit about childhood. You grew up where?
I grew up in I've been here 24 years in Monahans.
Monahans, Texas, which is in West Texas for anyone who does
Yes.
not know that. Okay, and you have one brother. And that's it.
I have one that's it, one older brother.
Okay, so we told us a little bit about your childhood and kind of what got you going into this. Tell us a little bit about your artist inspirations.
Yes, of course, I didn't grow up on the and it I was introduced into country music. I didn't know country music. Everyone knows George Strait. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who you are, that you're gonna know George Strait. That's the only country artist I knew, but I didn't know there was tons. So I grew up on listening to a bunch of Spanish music, rock music. I listened to
Okay.
rap and hip hop. I grew up on everything else except country music.
Mhm.
Um, I think whenever I got into high school, I started getting introduced into country music. The first country music star that I ever heard was Darius Rucker.
Okay.
And and of course I was like listening to his music. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. I was like, I like it and I like the way and then eventually from listening to Darius, um, it branched out to listening to a bunch of other people. And then from there I ended up like discovering my favorite artists. Um, Dustin Lynch, John Party, Jason Aldean, like those are my top 3 artist inspiration. And the only reason I like it is because they wear the cowboy hat and they play guitar and they wear the boots. And I was like, wait, that could be me. And I was like, I like the cowboy hat. I was like, I like the boots. I like the guitar. And I was like, I can play drums. I was like, that's cool. I was like, those are my favorite. And but my ultimate favorite is Dustin Lynch. And I've met him before. He's a really nice human being. He's
Really?
amazing. And the cool thing about it is his piano player that's in his band, he's the same guy that's in my studio band in Nashville, which
Really?
is yes, which is
S
really crazy. And it for me, it I try not to freak out, like
Yeah, I would
especially with
imagine.
yeah, I try not to freak out with him being in the same studio as me. I was like, wow, I was like, you're on tour with Dustin year round, but you're here for the next couple of hours in studio with me. I was like, that's pretty cool. I was like, I'm not gonna freak out. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
freak out. I'm not gonna fangirl
That's what
over
I was so about to say.
yeah,
I mean, so there is still some starstruck things that
yeah.
definitely occur. And talk
Mhm.
about you meeting Dustin Lynch. I mean, I can imagine, like, we all have different types of role models and people who we look to and find inspiration from, but not all of us get to meet them. So how was that
Yeah.
for you to actually get to meet someone who is, um, kind of a key figure in shaping what you want to do with your life?
It it was crazy. I was nervous, like, going up to him, just like I was, like, shaking. I was like, "I don't know what I'm gonna say." I was like, "What do I say?" I was like I have a picture with him too, but I was like, I was like, "I'm gonna try not to freak out." I was like, "What do I tell him?" I was like, "And do I just tell him?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I look up to you." And then I was like, "No." I was like, "Let's just keep it normal." I was like, "Stay calm, stay calm." And I just went up there. I was like, "Hey, Dustin, what's up?" I was like, "I'm Chris." I was like, "Blah, we talked about this, blah, blah, blah." Took the picture. That was it. And then, of course, I posted that to Instagram, and I was like, "What's?" Because at the time he was releasing an album. It's called Current Mood.
Okay.
So on Instagram, I went and posted it, and I said, I was like, my hashtag current mood. I was like freaking out. I just met my country music inspiration. I was like my idol. I was like, I just met him, and I'm freaking out. He commented, and he's like, it's good meeting you. He's like, cheers with like a beer emoji, and I was like, what? This is crazy. I was like, I'm not freaking out. I was like, I'm not freaking out. This is pretty cool. I was like, I like
Yeah,
this. I was like,
that's so awesome. That's really good. Well, speaking of that, you're kind of the way that you're running into these people is because 'cause you're back and forth to Nashville right now. Is that correct? I
yeah.
understand you just got back?
Yes, I just got back a couple of days ago. What's today? Yeah, Wednesday was when I got back. So yeah, I just got
Okay,
back Wednesday.
And what were you doing in Nashville? Tell us a little bit about what you were doing.
So I went and I was in studio with my producer, Leland Grant at Southlight Sound. Shout out. And I was recording new music. I just wrote a few songs with one of my good friends from Florida, and then I went up there to go record it and then get that done. That way I can get it out pretty soon because I haven't had new music since the end of 2020.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and I couldn't go back to Nashville because this past year, early 2021, studio got flooded.
Oh, no.
So about March or April, I think. March or April, the studio got flooded. So he's my only studio, so it's not like I could have gone to somewhere else in Nashville to go record. I mean, I could have, but it would have been just a whole mess trying to book a different studio, but with staying producer. Um, but yeah, it flooded, so I went the whole year, and it wasn't till probably about October that it finally came back up. And then no, yeah, October, November. Then I got the message where he's like, "Hey, studio's back up and running." I was like, "You wanted me to text you?" I was like, "Yeah, for sure." I was like, "When do you have?" And we set it up for just this past week.
Okay.
And I went up there, recorded the new music, and
So
I'll be
that
ready
kinda
to
was like
go.
a little derailment that you guys didn't have on your agenda. Did that put you
Yeah.
guys behind on your, like, anticipated timeline for maybe albums or music release or
Mm.
different things like that?
Yeah, so like I plan I plan on like getting music recorded. So like I just went to Nashville, recorded. I plan on at least doing a song a month,
Okay.
at least every a month or every other month. So I'll have 3 songs ready and I'll release them every month. Then I was planning on going on the 4th month, so releasing songs 1, 2, and 3. On the 4th month, going back to record, get those back, and of course, go 1, 2, and 3,
Gotcha.
record throughout the whole year. But last year was just like, dang, I had nothing to do. I was like, I can write music, and then I could have a bunch of songs, and that's what I did. Basically, is what I did
You took the
is I just
time.
wrote I took the time to write music. I was like, I actually met my friend from Florida this past year, like late, probably August, September, I think, something like that. Um, so we've worked a lot and we have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of new stuff coming out that we've written, and I can't wait to go back to Nashville to go record, even though I just got back.
Yeah, that's funny. So we haven't talked about how, I mean, you gave us a little bit of insight on how you got involved in music, but kind of take us through like what that looked like prior to maybe just going out on your own, because I know there was some history prior to that. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the music and maybe like your thoughts on taking this musical route.
Yeah, so this all started, of course, whenever my uncle had his band back in the day. So I grew up into it, and of course, playing in the church, so my family band that we had at the church here in Monahans, and then, of course, still me being musically inclined. I was in band in high school, played drums there. I didn't always sing at the time, so I was more into drums, and then, um, of course, I played guitar here at Crossroads in Monahans. I played drums there too, and then wasn't until about 2015 I actually joined a band, and I'm still with this band. It's a part of me being an artist. I'm a part of another band. We are called Clay Creek here out of Monahans. Well, we're out of Monahans, Texas, and then Wicked, Texas. So we're like kind of spread out. But I joined them, and then after that, I had learned to play guitar when I was probably like a freshman in high school, sophomore in high school. I bought um I don't know if you can see. Oh, yeah. So this green guitar right here was my first guitar,
Oh, cool.
and I learned to play on that one. We had an acoustic guitar, but I was like, and that was around the time that I was big into like rock music, and I like the distortion, I like the gain on the guitars, I like the crunch, and I was like, I want an electric guitar. So we got that one, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna learn on. And eventually, whenever I got into high school, I started learning country music, and I was like, okay, maybe it's not really hard. So I was like, I got to turn it back a little bit. But then that's whenever I discovered the artists that I like, John Party, Dustin Lewis, Jason Aldean, and they have the rocking guitars. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can turn it back up a little bit.
Okay. So
And
you
then about
found
20,
something that kind of fit your what you were looking for. You kind of have that country roots, but kind of like a
hmm
little bit of rock in there as well.
yeah, yes. And then eventually, when I got up, when it was about 2016, about the middle of the year, where my first song, which is actually out, my first song was "Out by the Fire," I believe. Yeah, "Out by the Fire." I wrote that one, and then not too long after, I wrote my second single, "Missing You." Those were two singles that I put out right in the middle of COVID of 2020. I put it out in July and August of 2020, and ever since then, I've been writing music. 20 about October, I went back to Nashville, recorded more. I got recorded 3 more. I released them in December of 2020, and then ever since then, it's just been writing music, and now I'm gonna be back now that we just began 2022, I'm probably gonna be back and forth to Nashville quite a bit, recording music, trying to get it released.
Okay. So, we talked a little bit about like so how you got involved in music and taking this route, but you said some of it, there's a lot of doubt and kind of rejection involved in sometimes this taking
Mhm.
this route in your life. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and how maybe I guess just start there and then we can move to like how you overcome that. So let's talk a little
Yeah.
bit about like the doubt and rejection that sometimes comes with doing something that is so unconventional.
Yeah, so, of course, I have a lot of doubt, especially when it comes to, like, being an artist, and it's just like, okay, it always I always think to myself, "Is like, I'm not gonna be so and so." I was like, "I'm not gonna be that big." I was like, "I'm not gonna go play in around the 50 states." I was like, "I'm gonna stay here in Monahans and just be basically bare to nothing. I'm not gonna be anybody." I was like, "Of course, I do play guitar." I was like, "But that's it. Like, that's all I'm gonna be." But then eventually, it's just, like, a lot of praying and just talking to God and just being like, "Well," I was like, "I have this God-given talent that you have given me." I was like, "I should put it to use." And, of course, he was like, "Okay, yeah, be courageous about it." I was like, "Just take it to the next step." I was like, so just living off of that, and I was just like, "Okay, maybe," I was like, "I need to start trying a little harder." I was like, "I need to get a little better." I was like, "Maybe I just need to, like, find someone or be in a band or something." I was like, "That way I can just be more than what I think I'm gonna be." So until today, I'm just got it all together. I'm just like, all right, let's start pushing. I was like, start pushing. I was like, write more music. I was like, play more guitar. I was like, practice a lot more. I was like, get your name out there, promote yourself, and that's how that's where I am at right now.
Yeah. So that's where kind of coming in with Clay Creek came up was kind of like, I need to do something more. And so I kind of think of it like you little by little, you're taking like little steps to get to the next place. Yes. So you've got that. And then you're like, okay, well, now I'm going to do this also. I'm going to do this solo part of this and kind of go and write music and get that music produced and recorded and everything. And now your music is available. You can pretty much listen to you anywhere on anywhere you get music. So, um, what's how would we do that? Do we just look up your name and find you
Yes.
on Spotify or on Apple Music or on what?
Yeah, so just look at my name. Of course, you're gonna find one person with Chris DeAnda. There are some DeAndas out there that they're Spanish artists, but you're gonna find one country artist that's Chris DeAnda, and I have 5 songs on there. Of course, the 2 that I released back in "Missing You," "Out by the Fire," that were my first 2 singles, and then I put it onto an EP with 3 other songs that I co-wrote with my producer in Nashville. There's 3 new songs, "Hurt," "Tan Lines," and "Trouble" that are on there, and of course, I'm gonna have 3 more coming out sometime this year.
That's great. That's great. So you told me a little story, talking about taking this music route, about emailing like 25 studios or 25, was it 25 studios or 25
Yeah, yeah,
producers? Okay.
yeah. About
Tell us a little bit about that because that just seemed overwhelming to me, but tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is around the time where I was gonna get first started. I already had the two first songs that I had written ever. I had them ready to go, and this is where I had the doubts. Is like I was like, maybe what if they're not good enough? I was like, maybe they won't do good. I was like, maybe someone won't like them. I was like, they're not gonna like them, so I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep them to myself. I was like, if I play somewhere, like somewhere with like I'm like with friends or family, I was like, oh yeah, play a song. I was like, have you wrote any? I'm like, yeah, I have two. I was like, maybe I'll play them there. I was like, they'll like them, of course. I was like, that's where my doubt came in. I was like, I was like, that's how it's gonna stay. I was like, it's gonna be just with me and my close friends and family, and that's where all I'm gonna play them.
So it was like, I'm comfortable playing other people's music out in public and
Yes.
knowing that it's already well received, but
Yeah.
to put
Mhm.
my music out there in public to be judged or ridiculed or,
Mhm.
rejected is hard.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's
And
extremely vulnerable. I mean, it's not like
yeah.
writing music is because I would assume, here we go again with the assume thing, but I would
Yeah.
assume that comes from like a very personal experience or very near and dear to your heart, right? And so,
Mhm.
um, yeah, that's being pretty vulnerable.
Yeah. And then, like, after that, like, I was just like, "Okay, let's so, like, of course, pray to God," and I was like, "Give me that courage." I was like, "Maybe I need to do something." So, I just remember, like, going online and just finding a bunch of studios in Nashville, and I was just like, "Okay," there's, like, their phone numbers, like, there's an email, so I would read the email and it was like, just type it up in the email, and then it was like, "Hey, I'm Christiana. I'm want to be a recording artist." So it's like, I have music that I've written that I want to record and release, and then I emailed and called over 25 to 30 studios in Nashville, and my producer Leland at Southlight Sound. Um, he was one out of two people. The other person, they emailed me about a couple of times, and after that, it just fell off. But Leland was the only one that actually was like, "Okay, yeah, dude." I was like, "Yeah, let's work it out." I was like, "When do you plan?" I was like, "Do you have a band?" I was like, "Are you gonna use studio musicians?" I was like, "What's your budget?" And let's set up a date. And that's whenever it was about the beginning of it was right about when COVID started. So like end of February, beginning of March, somewhere around there
Yeah.
was whenever I
Well,
was
and
just like, yeah,
Nashville
okay.
had some pretty restrictive rules as
Yeah.
well initially, correct?
Yes, it was pretty bad up there. Especially because just of being downtown. Uh, it's not only is it Music City, but a lot of people go up there. It's basically party city too, because you just go downtown and there's bachelorettes. And it's funny because in Nashville, they call them Nashlorettes, but it's funny. But there's a lot of bachelors, bachelorettes, a lot of people vacation down there. They go down because it's a fun spot, like,
Right.
especially being downtown, it's crazy, it's hectic. At some point, like, on the weekends, that's whenever they, like, literally have to close the whole Broadway street down from where the bars begin to where the bars end because the amount of people there is amazing, like, it's a lot of people.
Wow. Well, I saw on social media that you had the opportunity to get up and play or sing a song in a couple different places. Tell us where you sang in the last couple of days and who you're with.
Yeah, so, the first night, so was it Monday night? Yeah, Monday night because I met with my producer on Monday. Um, my guitarist, my lead electric that's in my studio band, his name is Dave Baker. He was
Hey,
playing
Dave.
a 6 to yeah, hey, Dave, shout out. Um, he was playing a 6 to 10 shift at a bar called Whiskey Mint. He was playing with, I can't remember her name. I think her name is Katie, and she played the fiddle. But he's like, "Yeah, we're playing a 6 to 10 at Whiskey Bin." I was like, "You should come out." So of course we went out, and he's
Yeah.
like, he's like, you want to sing a song? This was earlier though. We were in studio and he's like, yeah, just come on down. I was like, you want to sing a song? And I was like, can I? And he was like, yeah. I was like, the girl that I'm with, I was like, she's really nice. I was like, she's really sweet. And I was like, okay. So we met him down there. Um, and of course, at one point in the night, he told Katie, and he's like, hey, he wants to come up sing. I was like, can he? He's like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, Chris, you ready? I was like, yeah. So I went up there, sang the song. And after that, I went back on Instagram and I was like, hey, I have my other friends that are singing at Kid Rocks. So we would hop down the Kid Rocks and met up with them. And then somewhere towards the night, they came around um, and they're like, oh, yeah. I was like, you want to get on stage? Of course. I said, yeah, of course. Like, I want to be on stage. So they
Mhm.
called me up and I sang another song. And it was pretty cool. I love those guys. I was like, they're amazing.
Yeah. So you've been playing pretty much every weekend at out and around the West Texas area. Um, PS, I know that there's people from all over Texas watching this in different spots. If you know
Yeah.
someone who owns a bar or has people that come and sing, help a guy out. Um,
Yeah.
so, but we talked about how it's kind of maybe you're like in a different type of world than the rest of us are because part of your life is in Nashville and that's where, where maybe at some point you need to be. And then you're
Yeah.
also working really hard in your day-to-day life just to make ends meet, continue to be
Hmm.
able to um, record and do all these things. And then you're playing gigs on the weekend. So talk to us about how that life is kind of putting itself together for you.
Yeah, so of course Monday it's weird because normally normally like a lot of people they have jobs and of course I have a job. So it's hectic having like working throughout the week and then on the weekends having so I basically only get 1 day of rest and that's on Sunday because I'm always on something like I'm Monday through Friday working and then practicing with my other band eventually like there's some days that we don't or some weeks that we don't but it's 9 to 5, it's, working, practice, and then heading out on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Wednesdays and Thursdays, but and then getting back home on Sundays, so it's it's crazy, and then having that time where I text my producer, I was like, "Okay, I have these songs ready to go," and then I'll record them here at home, and then email them over to him, and then he'll listen to them, and then we'll just come together. I was like, "So when is it possible for me to go back?" And then we'll just set up a date, and then here I go again. I head up to Nashville, and then I head back, and then just to do it all over again. So it's constant. I was like, it's always constant.
Okay. And are you, I mean, of course, with anything that's constant, do you ever feel like you get burnt out or overwhelmed or overly stressed regarding it? And sometimes think this may be worth it, or sometimes this is not worth it, just out of
Yeah,
frustration?
yeah. I get burnt out a lot, especially like after playing 2 shows. Like that Sunday, like that. I always look forward to Sundays because I look forward to Sundays, but I don't because Sundays like it's my rest day. But then I'll just like get up in the morning on Monday. But it's always yeah, I get burnt out a lot. Like especially if the shows get like there's times where I'll head out Wednesdays, sometimes it's Thursdays, and just Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday all together, and then just traveling here, traveling there, going back and forth here, just I'm always tired because I'm always driving.
Mhm.
And it makes me tired to like I just played a 2 to 3 hour show and I was like, but then I have to drive home and I was like, dang. I was like, I had to all right, here we go. I was like, and
Right.
especially loading up, tearing down, and then the drive home, and then just like I'm so tired. I was like, I feel like I can't do this. I was like, but then I get that little pick me up where I'm just like, all right. I was like, at the end, I was like, it's all gonna be worth it. At some point, you're gonna have people working for you to do all this stuff that you're doing now, and all you have to do is just sit there, go sing, and go back and sit there again.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I was like, let's just keep pushing hard now. I was like, because one day it's all gonna pay off and be worth it.
Okay. So what would you say are your successes in the here and now, right now? What would you count as success for your music?
So right now, I think last night, as of right now, I checked, I have over 150,000 streams around the world. That's my big success at the moment. That there are people out there that are listening to my music, and especially out of the United States, there's people in different countries like India, uh, Australia, South America, anywhere in South America, Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Germany, Russia. Like it's weird. Like I was like, not only is like country music popular in the US, but it's popular around the world. And I was like, and it's constant because there's like, because I can see where they're listening to and how many times they streamed it there. And it's just like, what? I was like,
It
how is
wasn't like a
someone
mistake, a random.
no, yeah. I was like, how is someone in Argentina that probably doesn't speak English, or they just, I don't know what language, they Spanish probably. I was like, how does someone down there, how are they streaming my songs over 25 times? I was like, and it could be just one person or two people. I was like, how is that possible? I was
It's so funny that we think that, but then I think about like the K-pop thing, and
mm-hmm,
I mean that's huge here, and people listen to it, and not all
yeah,
of, I mean, there's very few of it that's actually in English right now, and
yeah,
it's
literally.
gigantic. It's huge. So
Yeah, yeah,
it
it's
makes sense, but I don't know why our brains can't think that way.
yeah, like it's weird. It's like Germany. I was like India. I was like, I'm pretty sure they might speak English, but they might not. I was like, how it's like, is they like the song translating at some point over there that they're just like where they're listening to it, but it's in their language. So I was like, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for everybody, that anyone that has at least listened to 30 seconds of it. Like I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for that.
So everybody, you heard that. Go and listen to that music and stream it and get him even more what streams? Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah,
Streams?
more streams,
Okay.
yes.
More streams, more streams. That's what we need. Okay. What about some setbacks? Things that you thought you would maybe be there already or be in a different situation and you're not yet. And I think just in the last 2 years in general, I'm just gonna throw some
Yeah,
that's kind of the theme of everyone's life, that there was something that was a setback. So
yeah. So basically, some setbacks right now is just, I pretty much tell myself all the time is that I want to move to Nashville. Just going
okay,
back as much time as many times as I go back and forth. It's like I need to like I need to move here. I was like, I need to move here. I was like, I could have everything that I do here. I can do it over there.
okay,
Like I can write over there, and I do
right.
it here. The only thing I can't do here is record. I would have to travel, and especially it at some point it's a lot of money to travel back and forth,
Oh, absolutely.
like a lot. Like just flights alone, your flights alone are about 300 bucks. So I'm just like, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot. Like adding
When
up
you're
like
doing it multiple times a
yeah,
year and
yes, yes, and
and
it's
then
just
it's
back
just
and
the
forth.
time and energy too of going back.
Especially just having, yeah, especially like having the everyday life here in Texas, and then having to go up there and only having a few days up there where I could be up there full time and it be in a very close distance, like where I'm 20 minutes away from work, or I'm 25
Right.
minutes away from the studio, and then I'm 10 minutes away from home.
Well,
And it
and what we have to, I think, be honest about that is, environmentally, it's probably more conducive to highlighting you and getting you into a situation. It's kind of like bridging the gap, right? Like
yeah,
you're going to have the opportunity to get where you're trying to go potentially at a faster rate because of the fact that as you're there, you're meeting people, you're the ability to potentially say, oh, yes, I'm available for these types of gigs, different things, and you're in a flooded market. I mean, every single week, new people are coming into Nashville.
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it would be a system too because I'm telling you, there's a lot of great musicians. There's a lot of singers, and those are the people you meet downtown that play the little bars, the dive
Okay.
bars, the bars that are downtown. And that's how I met most of my friends that play down there. And
Mhm.
I was like, I was like, dude, you're a great guitarist. I was like, you can sing. I was like, you can play the piano. I was like, dude, you're a good drummer. And like that's potential. And it's like you never know. Like especially down here, we're not really. It's not musician populated around here. Like you could just go out to the mall and just be like, I feel like you play guitar, and they'd be like, no, I don't play anything. I was like, I don't play. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
But like versus when you're over there, I was like, I was like, you play guitar? Yeah, I play guitar. I was like, oh, you sing? Yeah, I
Mhm.
sing. And it's you just meet a lot of artists and like artists and musicians that are just there, and it's great. Like you could just walk down the street and meet someone and be like, oh yeah, I play guitar. I was like, you want to join a band? I was like, sure, let's join a band.
Yeah.
Versus here, versus here in Texas, where especially where I live in Monahans, like you have to do some real lot of searching for it. I was like,
Yeah.
gotta go to social media. You just be like, oh, anyone in Monahans, Odessa, Midland, Odessa, anyone play drums. I was like, anyone play guitar.
Yeah.
I was like, anyone can play anything. I was like, I'm looking for someone versus over there, you're just like, you can just walk down the street and be like, hey, you want to play drums for me? Sure, let's get
Yeah.
together.
I see. I see what you mean. So there's some logistics issues, there's some availability or
Yeah,
of like a special commodity because that's like skills
yeah,
based. Like I told you, I am a great singer in my bathroom and in my car as long as I'm by myself. But I don't
yeah,
think anyone will ever pay money to hear me sing. We can try later. I'm just saying we can, but I don't think it's
yeah,
going to happen. And so, yeah, I mean, so skill based, trying to find people, and then logistically, if you find someone
yeah,
that's an alpine and you're in Monahans, okay, well, how's that going to work, and how beneficial is that really going to be? Um, all right. So tell us, what are some of your ultimate goals? Because I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, wow, like this is like a situation where a bunch of young people in Monahans are going to have a really good role model that says, like, I'm going against the grain here just a
mhm,
little bit. And I'm doing it publicly. And so there's the potential that it doesn't work out and that's gonna be harmful and hurtful, but there's also the potential that it does, right? And so tell us, what are your ultimate goals, and then how do you scale that back to, like, this year's goals? So we'll start with
yeah.
ultimate goals.
My ultimate goals is, of course, to release a lot more music this year. That's like my ultimate goal. And then eventually, another big ultimate goal is moving to Nashville. But right now, as while I'm still here in Texas, I want to release as much music as I can, um, and then eventually, at some point, releasing an album. But and it's crazy though. I talked to a friend, and he said, he's like, don't. He's like, not a lot of people don't have the attention spans anymore. Like, they don't really have an attention span to last very long. So, like, no one's gonna sit through a 10-song album and just listening from top to bottom. No one's gonna do that.
That's true.
I was like, not everybody, no one's attention spans are the same anymore. So no one's just gonna sit there and just listen to it. I was like, so and better just to release it once a month and just release, or maybe 2 songs a month, and it'll be easier for them to be like, okay, that's 6 to 7 minutes of your life where you're listening to 2 songs, or 3 minutes of your life listening to one song.
Mhm.
So just basically putting out as much music every month as much as I can
So what
is my
I'm hearing is like you're playing to the fact that we are instant gratification society. And so
Mhm.
you're wanting to catch them in the first 10 or 15 seconds of the song, the first 30 seconds of the song.
Yeah.
And then once, if they decide that, hey, this is worth the listen, I'm going to continue to listen. Once you get them,
Mhm.
you got them. But it's
Yeah.
that first initial thing. Absolutely. So it's kind of really marketing for music because that it
Yeah.
is very true. We are instant gratification society. We want things. I kind of say we're like a Burger King, right? We want it how we
Yeah.
want it, everything, and we want it
Yeah.
quick and we want it at the right price, and we want all these things to be exactly how we want it. And if we don't like it, we're done with it because I can find something
Yeah.
else to stimulate me just as
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's basically like just watching TV. I was like, you watch 5 minutes of something, and you're just like, okay, let's change the channel. I want to watch something else. Or
Yep.
I'm watching 10 minutes of this movie. I was like, I really don't like it. Let's find another movie to watch. That's the same
Mhm,
thing with music. I
mhm.
was like, you're only caught like within like a 3 minute song. You're just like, okay, I like this. I was like, okay, let's listen to another one and see how I like it more. And then that's
Yeah.
how like you build. That's how like you build fans
Yeah.
and like popularity and exposure. It's like you put something good out and it'll make them not lose the attention to it and go somewhere else, whether they catch it and then there's like, okay, let's listen more, let's keep going. I was like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, he doesn't have any more music. So like, we'll replay it again. I was like, I like those songs that he released. I was like, let's keep going. Hopefully he releases music more. And I was like, that's what I'm trying to do.
I get you. Okay.
Mm.
So we've talked a lot about new music, ultimate goals, but how about your 20 did we talk about 2022 goals? What how would we know that we've had a successful year for Christiana music? How do you measure that? Cuz like I told you, I know how I measure my business goals, right? I can say how many clients did I have? How many new people came to the stream? How many, right, all these things. How much money did I make? Those things, okay, they're very tangible. I can see that and I know that. But how do I know, for like with you, how do you find that like you've had a successful year?
So by at least December, I want to have released about 9 songs. Hopefully, I
Okay.
want to release 9, probably basically a full album, but only be singles because again, our attention span's not that great anymore.
Now,
So
is
I
this
want to
this
release.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but is this a
Oh,
strategy that is being used by more like up and coming people instead of, because I remember being like, oh, did my first album, like, and then like now that's not a thing really.
yeah, yeah, really, pretty much, albums aren't really a thing because like, and this is when I was talking to my good friend. His name is Philip Good, and we were talking up in when we were in Kannapolis, North
Mhm.
Carolina. We were talking. He's like, we were just talking about music. I was like, "You have music?" I was like, "Yeah, I put out an EP." I was like, "But it it did good, but it didn't do good.
Mhm.
Like it could have gotten better." And I was like, "Oh, that's probably why." I was like, "You released it as a EP." I was like, "Dude," I was like, next time you go record," I was like, "Just do them as singles. Just keep doing singles." On like because people are only like caught for like 3 to 4 minutes on a song before they give up and go like listen to something else or go do something else. I was
Yeah.
like, so, and he was just like giving me like the rundown. I was like, so if you release a song, I was like, you're just gonna watch the analytics go up. Like they're just gonna go up, but the second like they go down, that's whenever you put out another song. That way it keeps everybody fresh. So
Yeah.
they start going up, they go down, release that song, and then they start going up again.
Yeah.
And it's
Makes
just all
sense.
the analytics of just releasing just one song because putting a whole unless you're someone that's like really
Because
big,
it will
unless you're
then
big.
recommend your other songs, right? It will say
Yeah,
like, "Hey,
yeah.
the next you should look at other music by
Yeah.
Christiana," right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
like, especially, like, if you pull up my page on Spotify or Spotify or Apple Music, like, of
Mhm.
course, you're gonna see all my music there, so, like, you'll listen to one, you'll have everything in there.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Um, we talked a little bit. I guess the last part I just want to talk about is like this is a pretty courageous thing you're doing, and that you said sometimes like you can have doubt and nerves and kind of
Mhm.
catastrophize like, oh my gosh, I'm just never gonna get there. Like we
Yeah.
can spiral because we're all um
Mhm.
capable of doing that, and we all have done that at some point in our life. So how do you stay positive, and how do you continue to press into this like ultimate goal? Because some of us, we have goals for our life, but and we kind of have a timeline for them,
Yeah.
whereas yours doesn't have like a timeline. I went to school, and I finished my bachelor's degree in 3.5 years. I went to, you go to grad school and you finish your
Mhm.
grad degree in this amount of time, and you go to work and you do for this amount of time, and then you start your own business. How do you do that when you don't have a timeline?
A lot of praying to God. If that honestly, that's it. That's basically it. Like, it's just like, okay, just give me the courage. I was like, just give me the time. I was like, give me the patience because it's just gonna be running. If I didn't pray, like I would just be running around and I was like, okay, I'm losing everything. I was like, did I get my guitar? I was like, did I get my keys? Did I get my wallet? Did I get my phone? But then I just like pray to God and I'm just like, I was like, bring me peace. Like I need peace. I was like, I need patience. I was like, bring that to me. And then of course I'll get it all together. I'm just like, okay, I got this. And then I just go on about my day.
Yeah. So lots of faith is
Mm.
in this. And
Yes.
so for you, let's say, do you have your own timeline for yourself to that you are like, okay, if I haven't gotten to this point by this time, is there something that tells you like, okay, this is it for me? Do you have that, or is that even something you're thinking about? Because I kind of feel like that's I also think there's like that other part of like
Yeah.
realities and things like that, right? So do you ever struggle with that?
No, so I just go by day and as things
Mhm.
come and go right now. But then I guess eventually this whenever I start getting busier where I'm doing this pretty much Sunday to Sunday where I have something, I was like, okay, I have co-writes on Monday and Tuesday. Or and then I was like, I'm heading out on the road Wednesday, then I play shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I'm back home on Sunday and then just do it. Then that's when I'll eventually like have a timeline. Okay. I was like, all right, so we start Monday. I was like, by next week I need to have 20 songs written and then be in studio within the next month. Like I'll eventually have that like that mentality where I'm just like, well, okay, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Right.
Where it's like where it's constant for me.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wanna say good luck to you because
Thank you.
I think that this is awesome. You already know because I was telling you earlier. I
Mm.
fangirled Chris because I was so excited. But, thank you for coming on and sharing, because I just think
Welcome.
it's really important for people to understand that this is not something that's an easy thing to do, that there's lots of struggles and strife with it, but there's also lots of rewards that, can come with this journey, and that it's something that is gonna take some time, and it's gonna take some patience and some grace, and there's gonna be, um, things that go great and there's going to be setbacks, but I think also just your outlook on it just seems so um appropriate would be the word that I say, because you're
Yeah.
not just like in a fairy tale land, but you're
Yeah.
also not detached from like the fact that I can chase this dream, I can chase these goals. This can be a reality for me, because it's a reality for a lot of other regular people, because
Mhm.
all of those major superstars and singers, they are just regular people at some point in
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to realize that and enjoy and like hone that, right? Because that to me
Yeah.
is like that's like currency in this situation, to be able to say like these are just normal people and I'm just a normal person, and they all
Yeah.
came from just a normal background. And um I think that that's currency. I think we have to do that in our everyday lives. Do you ever feel like you struggle with like imposter syndrome because of that? Like you're like this recording artist, but at the same time, like, you're just a normal person.
Yeah. Yeah. it's weird because it's like some like because there's like some people that'll like see me as like especially like they never met me before and they ask what I do.
Mhm.
Like, was like, what do you do? Like, I'm an artist. And I'm like, oh, what? No way, really? I was like, you have music out? And I was like, yeah. I was like, can I get a picture? And I was like, yeah. Like,
Oh
it's
my
weird.
goodness.
And then I just come back home. I was like, I just come home and I'm just like, okay, that's cool. Like, I'm just a
Yeah.
regular person that sings music.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No one asked to take their picture with me either. That's
Oh,
I know, it's weird. I can't believe it. Can't believe it. Um, all right. Well, I think we got a lot of our questions answered. You shared a lot about your life and living courageously and doing this amazing journey that you're in. We want everyone, go stream some music and listen to Chris. And like I said, if you have any connection to someone in the music industry or someone who owns a bar or someone who potentially hires people to sing, then you should definitely hit him up in the chat or leave a message on there so that he can check that out. I'm going to give Mark Bostock a shout out in Stephenville, Texas, and tell him that he should hit up Chris DeAnda. He owns a
pretty
bar
great.
in
Oh, yeah.
Stephenville.
Oh, I would love to go down there.
Okay. Well, Chris, thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate you
welcome.
coming on, and we will see you guys soon. I actually do not have anything on the books for next week, but I could say that I'm actually working to visit with a young lady that is from Monahans who will be attending, I believe, Arizona State University. Um,
Mm.
so I'm not going to say her full name, but Hope, come and see me. So I'm
Oh,
really
yeah.
excited to have her on to visit with her. So, um, again, be watching your notifications so that you know when we go live. Don't forget, go to YouTube, like and subscribe. Go and check out Christiana Music, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.